Shining hard, go we back up. Rose gold from your neck up. You know the longest stop to try to check us. Papa X feel like you Malcolm.
Alright, we're recording.
I'm in a relationship with all my bitches, yeah.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Earbuds Podcast. I am your host today. My name is Yiorgos. I am joined, as always, by BD42, the Flight Pattern, Ben Danzig.
Grateful to be here.
And today we are missing our third usual co-host, Matt Griffin. But in his stead, we have a couple of boys that are joining us. One of them you actually heard in the last episode, my brother. The Ang to my Zuko, Teo Tsivranidis.
Whoop diddy whoop.
maybe the Zuko to my Ang. I think I'm Ang. Anyway, and Evan Kindler. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Very excited to talk to these boys today. We are gonna cover a slew of topics, including a project that these boys have started called Sears Radio. We're going to talk about sex. We're going to react to the Brockhampton RCA announcement video. We're going to do a little reaction to the new Weeknd album playlist, whatever that thing was.
EP.
And
Piece of shit.
and we are going to answer a bunch of questions that Matt has sent us in the Matt's Mailbag section. So, first off, our top story today, Sears Radio. Evan, what is Sears Radio?
So, Sears Radio is a weekly playlist that me, Teo, and a bunch of our other friends make. Every week we decide a theme, and then we each submit 3 songs based on that theme to then put out. We share it on Facebook. It's on both Spotify and Apple Music. The idea originally was from us liking our own music a lot and thinking that other people would like that. So we were just like, why don't we have a playlist that we put out every week with a bunch of songs that other people would possibly like? And we talked about doing it for like 4 months, 5 months. And then one day I was just like, I'll do it. Like, is everyone okay with me being the one to like figure it all out? Everyone was like, yeah, sure. I don't want to do the work.
The DJ.
So like, every week, everyone who is involved, or just like, not every
people?
week. There's about like, what are we at, like 10 now?
Around, yeah.
10 to like 12. It varies by week. Like some weeks people just don't want to participate in the certain like theme, or like they just don't have songs, or like they have too much work and like don't take the time to like allow me to hassle them into giving me songs. But pretty much every week we choose a theme in our group. We have like a little Facebook group chat where we choose the theme, and then people send me songs, and then I listen to all of them. Teo and I, we like go through and we're like, okay, this song would sound good here, this song would sound good here. Just kind of
Okay,
like
so
curate.
you decide the order too.
Yeah, so we curate
It's meant
it.
to be listened to in order.
Well, that was like something we had like talked about, where we were like, do we want to have it be like a curated thing that like you're supposed to listen straight through? Or do we just want to put out like every week, just like everyone put out 3 songs, no theme, just like put out 3 songs?
Yeah. I think it's mostly meant to be like a hybrid between a playlist where you could play it in order and like actually listen to the stuff, or actually just something like a music discovery playlist where you just sort of...
Like a radio channel.
Yeah.
So wait, Sears, to clarify, Sears is the building that you guys all live in this year,
Correct.
right? Y'all have been friends since last year, or most of you, right?
At least since
y'all are
last year.
sophomores in college right now.
Yes.
What do you think about this idea? I've already told you about this idea before.
Yeah, it's a great idea. I mean, especially if you're telling like other friends to listen to it. If I'm someone hearing about that, I'm much more likely to like take into account the fact that you like the music and like give it more of a chance. You know, having like a friend endorsement of music is much more helpful than some computer generated Spotify playlist. It's like, well, I like these guys' like thought process when it comes to music, and they applied that to a playlist. Like, something like that is very exciting to
I think
try and find new music.
Yeah, I think it's generally a great way to share music, and I think music is a great way to kind of get to know a person or even like a group of people. I especially love Sears Radio because you guys listen to a lot of the kind of music that we listen to. I've mentioned on an episode before that I fell in love with Kaytranada because of basically you, but like how crazy you guys were about him and his music. I'm like, okay, I gotta check this guy out, I guess, or like, give him like an actual...
Give him a fair shot.
Give him a fair shot, yeah. If I had just heard him on the radio, I'd be like, oh, this is kind of weird.
Maybe not fair. Maybe a preferential shot.
Yeah. Like a little bit of a bias towards, oh, this is probably going to be cool. Because our music taste generally overlaps. So...
I mean, but like the other thing with the playlist is that it's not just us. Mm-hmm. So it's a group of a bunch of other people who are also... like listening to different types of music. Mm-hmm. So like you could have one theme. We had a theme that a few weeks ago that was energy, and it was all over the place. Like I put on a song that was like it was Meek Mill and Quavo, and then there was a song that was like Group Love, and then there was LCD Sound System. It was just like, because energy is such a broad topic, and there was such a broad range of different people who were going to add music to the playlist, that like it just like it like sometimes, like for example, we have a playlist right now for Spring Weekend, which is the Brown like concert weekend thing. So we just did a bunch of songs from the artists who are coming to Spring Weekend. It's entirely Anderson .Paak. Like, because we all love Anderson .Paak, and he's the one artist that like is coming that we just like all like could not do without. So sometimes it's like all the same thing, but sometimes with like energy is all over the place. So it's really interesting to watch like how people interpret the theme. So like people will ask me, because since I'm the person who like puts all the stuff together, they'll ask me like, what does the theme mean? Like, how am I supposed to interpret this? Like, and my response is just like, however you want. Basically, however you think's appropriate, interpret it. Like International Women's Day, someone was like, "Does it have to be a woman who made the song?" I'm like, "It does." Like, there's no guidance other than just the theme. So we set the theme. That's what you're going into the like Sears Radio playlist like thinking about initially, and then you listen to the playlist, and that was our conception of whatever that theme meant.
This all makes me wonder, like like Blonded Radio, like that's Frank Ocean's, and then like OVO Sound, Drake's. I wonder like how many people make those? Like Blonded, is that just Frank?
Oh, you mean how many people go like
make the playlist,
make the decisions of what music goes into
it?
That's a good question.
Because
I don't think Drake is directly like the one on OVO Radio.
Yeah, I really don't think
this
so.
Song. He definitely has like a bunch of people who run it.
But with Frank though, I could totally believe that Frank sits down and actually hand chooses those songs.
Exactly.
Because I've had a look at them a few times, and it like just by looking at them, it's like I can picture him getting high and listening to these on his own, like.
Yeah, but also you don't see Frank doing things in public ever, so like it's really easy to just be like, Frank's probably just sitting in his house like picking out songs.
I could
Whereas
imagine.
Drake, you're like, oh, I saw him at the Raptors game last night.
Yeah, he's Twitch streaming. He doesn't have time to make.
He's playing Fortnite with Travis Scott.
Yeah.
Travis Scott, release Astroworld. Stop playing Fortnite, please.
Okay. Yeah, International Women's Day was one of my favorite ones, actually.
They keep getting better each week, I think.
That's really cool. Yeah, you think so?
Like, every week I'm just like, this might be our best one.
That's a good feeling.
Yeah, I like it.
That's a good way to... That's kind of how I feel about the podcast, too.
Yeah, you kind of, like, notice your pitfalls earlier on in, like, creating anything artistically, so...
And you get in the groove, like, that's the other thing. So, how tedious is it to collect all the music from...
It's awful.
Yeah.
Because people are people, it requires me being like, send me the songs. We're not going to have a playlist unless you send me the songs. Send me the songs. So that's over the course of like 3 or 4 days of me spamming a group chat, like, send me the songs, in order to get like all the people. Yeah. Then once I get the songs, I have to... It's a bunch of people individually messaging me. So I have to then go between the messages and my music and being like, okay... like matching it up, putting it in the playlist. And once it's all there, then we have to listen to all of it and be like, okay, like this, honestly, we don't listen to all of it most of the time.
Right,
and we just
that's
like
a lot
listen to
of-
the beginning and end of each song. We're like, okay, this could flow into this and this could flow into that. And then once we do that, then I have to wait until, because we release it every Friday. So I have to wait until we're going to release it on Friday in order to do the rest of the things, which are transferring all the songs from Apple Music through SongShift to Spotify. Then going through that Spotify playlist and making sure they all transferred correctly, because sometimes you'll get like the Kygo remix of Marvin Gaye rather than the Marvin Gaye.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah, so that's pretty annoying. And then since we have the playlist, the same playlist update weekly, and then I save a copy of each playlist onto my profile, so I have to go through and update the playlist every Friday with all the new songs, which means going in on Apple Music it's really easy because I can just copy the playlist into the new playlist and delete all the songs from the old one. But on Spotify, unless I'm doing it wrong, like you can't just add a playlist to another playlist. So like I can't just add the new playlist that I had made into the old one and then delete the songs from the old one. I have to go in, delete every single song from the old one, and then individually add every single song. Yeah. So it's a whole process.
It's interesting. The platform doesn't really lend itself to these things, even though like it would be interesting to me to see, or it still is, when I find playlists that have a lot of followers. Like there's a playlist called Sex that I follow that like this guy Will Derbyshire made it and has like 119,000 followers. That's like, in terms of like the way YouTube blew up, where like if someone can get a following with their playlists, it doesn't seem like Spotify really wants that to happen. Like it doesn't seem that they really care about that. Because it's not set up as like a social platform as much.
Dude, they need to. Yeah,
they have the cool friend activity thing where you can see what your friends are listening to. I love that.
I feel like that's what Spotify prides itself in. Is it's like you connect your Facebook to it, you can like see what your friends are listening to. Whereas Apple Music doesn't really have that. They kind of try to do that with like the profiles thing, but it's so hard to navigate. You don't really see your friends' profiles. The only time you really see when someone else is listening to music is if they're listening to the same album as you, which doesn't really help you discover music because you're just like, oh, my friend also likes this. Yeah. Which if they're your friend, you probably already knew that.
Right. That's true.
So, I don't know. It's weird to me that I feel like Spotify should be better at that, considering their whole, like, in my mind, their whole real difference from Apple Music is that they're integrated into, like, your social media and, like, the other people in your life.
Well, I feel like a big difference is the Spotify playlists.
Yeah.
Like those...
The ones that Spotify makes.
Yeah, the ones that Spotify makes, and they have like, you know, you can create a radio station off of any song, album, like, or playlist, basically. So I feel like they have a lot more ways of discovering new music. But with the social media integration, I feel like they should kind of keep that like compartmentalized. You know, like maybe leave the social media to a linked Facebook account or something, because you don't want to get too cluttered. You know, it's like,
that's true.
It's a music app at the end of the day. I don't want to like open up Spotify, scroll through like my Spotify news feed.
Yeah.
Like I think it's great as it is. You know, you can look at your friends' playlists and look at what they're listening to at that time. Like, if you want to find out any more, just talk to them. Like,
cluttering is a big thing. I love that this conversation has gone to the platform aspect of like the meta talking
really
about that.
Right? That's like the only way that people, not the only way, but like most people just listen to music through streaming services nowadays. Or so, YouTube. YouTube's also a streaming service, though.
That's true. They're trying to get
add
there.
a radio station on Apple Music too. You can
really?
make a radio station for any song. I just tried to do it.
But like the cluttering thing seems to be a big downfall of a lot of social media pages like Facebook. I think that's the main reason Facebook's dying right now. It's because it's like when I open Facebook, I have 8 notifications and I don't care about any of them anymore. Whereas I remember back in the day in high school and in middle school, I had a notification. I was like, whoa, so like someone commented on my picture or something. But nowadays it's like maybe it's because of the way we use the platform, but the platform itself is not lending itself to being enticing and, I don't know, drawing you in anymore. It's
also,
interesting.
Facebook sold all their data to Cambridge Analytica.
Yeah,
but, you know,
they're also pretty shitty.
beside the fact.
Yeah.
Anybody listening to this, you should go to your settings on Facebook and download all your data. It's a little scary, but you should do it. So then you know.
Did you do
They
that?
have all your
Yes.
photos. Oh, it's creepy. I found photos that I
like
sent
5
like,
gigabytes.
sophomore year of high school through Facebook Messenger.
Oh.
And like all the messages.
Wait,
like,
but if you download your data, what does that do? It's still on the site.
It
Yeah,
is,
no,
but
just
you
you
can
can
know what
see-
they have.
you can see what they have and possibly are selling.
Does that help? Like that's
that's just
this is a
wild
whole
to
totally
know.
different topic.
I know.
It's
I don't know
like
if I
This is
want
a
to
topic
know.
we always have with your dad.
yeah,
We always talk about privacy.
the privacy is
Yeah.
dead thing. Yeah, he likes talking about that. Okay, so back to Sears Radio for a second. We went pretty far away. We've been thinking of making a segment on the podcast that's called Create a Playlist or something like that, kind of inspired by what Sears Radio did. Have themes, and then like the three of us picking a mood or picking something, and then making a playlist and having that as like a second thing, like a complementary thing to the podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of excited for that. I hope we have a lot of, we came up with a couple of ideas last podcast just as we were talking. I don't know if we're actually going to follow through with most of these. And clearly it takes a lot of like effort.
It takes
but
a
I think
lot
it's
of-
worth it at the end of the day.
It takes a lot of effort, but I feel like especially since you're like 3 people, fewer people is easier, and also
For sure.
since you're already communicating about the podcast weekly, throwing in a couple of songs every week shouldn't be hard.
That's true. Yeah.
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 Especially. Oh, sorry. You wanna go?
Well, so like I feel like even for your own sakes, creating the podcast is a really like quote unquote healthy like music consumption pattern because Spotify it's a weird like it's not intuitive. What is it? What am I trying to think of? But regardless of whatever word I was thinking of, like Spotify gives you access to all music ever, basically. And yet, like the more I listen to Spotify playlists and new releases that Spotify puts out, my music gets like narrower and narrower. Because like there's so many shared songs across all their playlists. Like you gotta really kind of actively fight against like just being in that narrow view of the music that Spotify wants you to listen to. Like just everything that's like popular in each genre. Like, and what you guys are doing with this playlist, I mean, I would assume like, you know, in order to try and be unique and allow people to discover new music, you yourselves need to kind of broaden your horizons, which I think is
It's
a
kind of-
healthy
it's-
way of
it-
consuming
It
music.
seems like it's kind of breaking that mold, and Fantano talked about this. I hate that we talk about Fantano at every episode, but he's
you
so
bring him up every time.
you guys bring him up sometimes. I do really love him. But he talked about how we should be careful to not let these streaming platforms become the radio of back in the day, where the radio chooses what you're listening to. Because
mean,
that's kind of where they're getting.
It's just like Facebook. It's trying to learn what you like and give you that.
Yeah,
So
give you
like
more.
the whole election Facebook thing, where it's like these are the opinions I agree with. We're just gonna create these bubbles that people exist in, and that's the only information they're getting. It's the same thing. Spotify's learning what music you like it's like Pandora. It's just learning like what you like, what sounds you like, what artists you like, and then just like customizing that experience to give you that.
So-
And like hopefully you'll be able to like figure out how to get some different things in there as you change, because you're not gonna be the same person forever.
Right.
So yeah, like proposition, Spotify should have like a setting where you can say like I'm feeling adventurous in my music taste today, and it gives you music that you wouldn't really listen to normally.
That would be cool, indeed. They do have the Discover Weekly playlist, but is that kind of...
That's supposed to fall in line.
That's supposed
with
to fall in
those
line with
bubbles
what you're
that
listening
you were
to.
talking about.
Same thing with like the My New Music playlist on Apple Music. Like I love listening to that playlist, but it's because they give me a bunch of songs that they know I'll
they know
love.
you're going to like. Spotify, Apple Music, if you're listening, which you're not. Take these ideas and
Tim
run with
Cook,
it.
listen up.
We got free ideas for you. No charge. Free of charge. Let's move to kind of a lighter topic here. Sex.
Who doesn't?
There's this artist called Young Thug. At one point he was called Young Martha. Now apparently
I forgot about
you forgot. Yeah. Now apparently he's being called Sex. The first time I heard of Young Thug was Lifestyle. And I was like, what just happened? Like I heard him rapping, and I was like, were there actually words in there? It was the kind of the beginning of the mumble rap movement, but I feel like
everyone asked themselves when they heard that song.
Right. But I feel like he's slowly transitioned into, or maybe this is the way he always was, and I just wasn't, like, I was sleeping on him.
Wasn't.
He is so different now. He is, and I've briefly mentioned this in a previous episode, when we talked about, like, how many flows are there, really? How different can you get? He is, like, really, really pushing the boundaries, even though his sound is super annoying. To me, that's just my personal thing. I know you guys are big fans of Sex. And also Young Thug.
Who isn't? Who isn't?
So tell me a little bit about that. Like, what was your introduction to him, and how do you feel about him now? And how has that changed?
How X-rated can we go on this podcast?
Go for it, dude. I don't know.
Great. So my introduction to Young Thug was through Travis Scott.
Okay.
I love Travis Scott, and he was doing a joint show with Young Thug. So I was like, I'll go to that. It was a great show. The Young Thug part was good, but it was obviously like I was a giant Travis Scott fan, so that's what I was there for. Also, it got kind of annoying when they played Skyfall for like the 5th time in a row. But no, so I like first got introduced to Young Thug through that. Then I saw him again, and I still wasn't that big of a Young Thug fan because he was at Lollapalooza, so I just went to his show because it was a fun show to be going to. There probably wasn't anything going on, and I was just not really that into him. I was like, yeah, Young Thug is okay. He came for our spring weekend at Brown last year, and we were also just like not into him then. But then over the summer, one of my friends would just non-stop play Young Thug all the time. After Beautiful Thugger Girls came out, he'd just play it I would hang out with him every night, and he'd just play it every single night. And slowly I just got indoctrinated. And and then Teo and I we had an experience. And we were listening to Young Thug, and I don't know. At least for me, I would just start crying. I was just like, "Oh my god!" Like Young Thug.
Wait,
like,
what song?
Family Matters.
And we listened to Relationship like I don't know, 80 times. With this girl we were hanging out with during it loved
Barbie
Relationship.
Future. Yes, yeah. Relationship is the Barbie Future song. Barbie Future Young Thug song.
It's
What do you mean by that?
It feels like Future has gone.
Can we
and
listen to like 30 seconds of it?
entered a Barbie world.
Okay.
Um,
I'm gonna play a little.
That's the only way to really describe that song.
So is Future featured on the song?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And
the music video is also great.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So that's the moment I knew I was converted. I was just like, he's a genius.
He gets it.
It's just like.
But do you think that would have happened to you with any artist in that state?
I don't know.
You were
I
just
listened to a
ready to
lot of-
latch on to anything.
I feel like I was primed for it over the summer when my friend would just play it all the time, and then it was just like that experience that it all like clicked. But like, I don't know.
That is a great feeling though when you like
You
listen to an artist
understand.
long enough and then you're like, I understand like what this is trying to say, and then you just love it so much from there on out.
And then it was just me trying to convince Teo that Young Thug was good, so I would just play it all the time. And he was like, "Ugh."
And over the past year, he's been trying to convince me that Young Thug is good.
Yeah.
He has wowed me a couple times. Like this half singing, half rapping thing that he does is just really different. And I was thinking of making a video essay about this. How it sounds like he's just, but he's actually hitting specific notes, and you can play back what he's singing on a piano. I'm pretty sure.
The thing I love about Young Thug the most, I think, is just like half the time I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, I don't like no one else would ever do this, and it just makes me think about like how, like, it's like jazz, right? Like, it's like, why did they do that like that? Like, that was not what I expected at all. Like, how did they even think to, like, play that note rather than this note? It's, like, experimental, but at the same time, it's just, like, soothing. Like, I don't know. Like, his voice is just, like, it's like Kanye, where, like, Kanye on 808s uses his voice as an instrument. It's the same thing. It's just Young Thug creating, like, a song where, like, the words don't really matter. Sometimes they do, but, like, other times they don't. And, like, it's just kind of his voice and, like, the melody and, like, I don't know, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I think listening to him has been extremely exciting because it sounds like he's just making such unpleasant sounds sound good, which is like something I've never heard before, and he's doing it so well. And I love just how crazy he is, like, as a person as well. Like, he changed his name to Sex. He posted, like, officially, now I want everybody to call me Sex.
Did he tweet that?
Yeah.
So let's talk
Wait,
about
I have
that.
the tweet right here.
Let's talk about that for a second.
He tweeted on February 20th, I'm changing my name to Sex. For now on, call me Sex.
So is it sex in all capitals?
Sex in all capitals, yes.
Okay,
yes.
okay.
But also, who knows? Because it's Young Thug, so he could have just tweeted it. It could be sex in, like, Chinese, like, lettering. Like, who knows? Like, he's just a weird ass dude. His best friend is his little sister. Like, he's not putting out any music this year. He claims because he has a deaf brother, and he says he wants to know what it's like to be deaf. Like, it doesn't, like,
Wow.
Oh my he's just God. Like a weird ass guy who, like,
he was, I think he was one of the rappers, one of the kind of many rappers now that said that gender is on a spectrum, right?
Young Thug wears dresses.
He wears dresses. He goes to have you seen the video of him at a runway show where he gets up and stops the model and just, like, fixes quote unquote fixes their clothing, but really doesn't do anything. I really think that was just for appearances. Like, I'm here and I have an opinion, and he just got up, touched the guy's shirt a little bit, pretended to fix something, and sat back down. Literally interrupted this model as the model was walking.
Exactly. That's the thing. That's what I love about him. He has this clear opinion about what I am gonna put out in the world, what clothes I'm gonna wear, what music I'm gonna make, and I'm just gonna do that. And I don't care if people like it, but people did like it, and he did become famous somehow.
Yeah.
You know, like, so many artists have to conform to something else in order to become famous. But it just feels like, and the older his songs are, the even weirder they are. In a sense, like, the newer songs are a little more listenable.
I don't know. The old songs, I feel like he's just trying to be Lil Wayne. Like, his really old stuff, like, came out on shuffle on my phone one time, and I was just like, I've never heard this Lil Wayne song before. Because it was, like, legitimately, like, just the same exact sound.
Yeah.
And that's what he was marketed as at first. Like, with Cash Money, like, Birdman was getting him to replace Lil Wayne as, like, the new, like, huge superstar.
Oh wait, is he under Cash Money?
He was. I don't know if he still is.
I
would doubt it.
imagine.
I would doubt it based on the
I think
Cash
every
Money.
major artist left Cash Money because Birdman wasn't paying them.
Let's
I
find out.
heard there was drama, but I never knew what actually was happening there. Anyway, I think
he has his. He signed to Gucci Mane and Atlantic and whatever 300 Entertainment is. That too.
never heard of that.
I've seen that somewhere.
Yeah, he seems like the kind of guy that wants to blaze his own trail, or just blaze in general. So speaking of signing to places, I think we exhausted the Young Thug.
You can never exhaust the Young Thug.
You can never, truthfully, but this is the takeaway from this. You can't knock him for being unoriginal. He's doing something completely that is his own. He's breaking new ground.
I get it if you don't like it. Like, that makes sense to me. Like,
Yeah.
It's just, you can't say that he's not. You can't say that he's boring, and you can't say that he's not just doing whatever he wants in, like, an artistic realm. Like, he really doesn't, like. He's just not conforming to whatever anyone would say, like, this is what you should be doing. Jeffrey album cover. He's just wearing a dress. Like, no explanation. Yeah. It has nothing to do with the album, really. Like,
It's real artsy, too.
Yeah, he's just...
Jeffrey. He was called Jeffrey at one point, too. That's another name.
That's his real name.
That's his real name. But, like, it was also his artist name. So definitely he's not trying to cater to the lowest common denominator. That's what we can definitely say.
The thing is, like, people who don't like his music for the same reasons as me love Young Thug.
Mm-hmm.
Like they just love it, like
For different reasons.
for different reasons.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it to me, is that you can love him for like a million different reasons, because he's so many, like he's just a complex, like wild character with all these different like sides to him that you're just like, oh, like I didn't know this about him. I didn't know like his best friend was his little sister. I didn't know like he was like best friends with rich homie Quan growing up. Like what? Like what?
Guys, there's this other group of trailblazers. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're called Brockhampton. And some news broke yesterday or maybe 2 days ago.
Yesterday, I think.
That they have signed to RCA. Now, they tweeted this. I think Kevin tweeted something about it. He was like, don't worry. We're doing the same exact thing we did before. We're in a house. We're recording. Like, we're doing our own thing. He said the music videos are all going to be DIY still. And they released this video on YouTube titled Let's Get Married, in all caps. And it's 39 seconds, and we're going to watch it right now and react to it.
And away we go.
Rolling. Action.
Ooh, sire.
Hi. My name is Jaden Smith. And Brockhampton just signed with RCA.
At this point, you're pretty much out of my mind. But when I close my eyes, I think about you every time.
This clip sounds awesome. Damn.
Dude, I told you, dude. Puppy is gonna be the most summery, sunny. Okay, let me hear reactions. First of all, from Evan and Ben, who this was your first time watching this video.
Yeah,
What'd you
I
think?
mean, I want to know how they got in touch with Jaden, first of all.
Yeah.
Personal purposes.
Right?
Yeah, like, and I don't know. I don't really like. I can't tell if I like Jaden Smith or not. He seems to like be a bit pretentious and takes himself too seriously. But it's, you know, he's still young, and I think he's a very artistic person. But that's a topic for another day. But I love the clip at the end.
See, I feel like I like Jaden Smith simply off the fact that I just like don't care enough about him. You know, just like Jaden Smith's there, he's doing some stuff, seems kind of cool. He's Will Smith's son, give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
Let the kid.
I think
let
he
the
has
kid have
great
fun.
potential. I think he has amazing potential because he's just a really cocky guy.
Yeah.
Like he's really, really into himself.
little
That's
bit
what I
too
like
much.
about the song Icon. That like Brockhampton are huge fans of him, and I sort of understand why I'm not a huge fan, but I might be in the future, I think.
yeah, I could see that. And by all accounts, he seems to be like really nice to fellow artists. I heard some interview with Rich Brian talking about like one of the best days of his life.
Brian. That took me a second to realize who that was.
Yeah, right?
Oh, I can't believe he changed his name to that.
I think it was a good move.
I think it was a smart move, just like morally, but why Rich Brian out
Who's
of
Rich
all the
Brian?
names? Rich Chiga.
Oh,
He
Yeah,
changed his name recently.
that stick. You remember that?
interesting.
But he was talking about like how he was in New York one day and like Jaden Smith hit him up out of nowhere and like taught him how to skateboard for the day. Like, seems like he's an okay dude. But yeah, I mean, I'm super excited for the Brockhampton album. I love summery albums. Like, they're, I mean, obviously great for the summer, but they're also great for getting you through the winter afterwards.
Oh, sure.
'Cause it just, like, you listen to it all throughout the summer, you associate it with, like, the beach and warmer weather, and then it turns to shit again. and then you still are able to kind of, like, reconnect with those summer vibes.
I'd like to read you guys some of Kevin Abstract's tweets at Kevin Abstract on Twitter. He's called Dumbass for some reason. So he replied to someone's tweet. Someone says, "But are Brockhampton still in control creatively? Because I'd hope so. That's my only concern." And his reply is, "Yes, you finna see." He also says,
woke.
he's finna woke. He also says, "We just made that song tonight, Puppy This Summer." Romil also tweeted the same thing. He said, "We made that song 10 minutes ago." Another tweet from Kevin Abstract. He says, that's Ryan Beatty singing. Ryan Beatty is the guy who sings on Bleach. Follow at the Ryan Beatty and produced by Romil and Austin Feinstein, blah, blah, blah. And then he says, I asked Ryan to come outside and showed him the melody I had in mind. He came back outside with the lyrics for it. He's a wizard. Which is actually a really cool insight into how they write these songs. So Kevin was just like, na 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 na, and then Ryan Beatty's like, okay, yeah, that's and then he comes up with the lyrics. So are we, first of all, any reactions to these generally?
Can I say that I feel like Brockhampton aren't going to change much because of the record label, and a big reason of that is because they already have members that are responsible for so much of their marketing that goes on. Like, their videos are Brockhampton made, all of their music, production, and everything is Brockhampton made. Mm-hmm. Like, there's going to be no other people really getting into that closed circle.
I mean, but that just makes me think that people are just going to get dropped from Brockhampton.
You think
it's
so?
Like, oh, you're unnecessary anymore, you're not a star. It's just like the classic like movie thing where it's like, oh, we have this team and then like one of them is better than everyone else and they drop everyone else because like the record label is like, we just want you, you're the stars. Like, you know, like yeah. I could just see like a bunch of people just getting cut because it's like, okay, you're working with this producer now, like, oh, videographer,
yeah,
photos, graphic design.
Yeah, but they can't really do that because Kevin, I think Brockhampton wouldn't allow them to just fire their videographer.
I mean,
because they're homies.
I just like the question becomes how much power do they end up having, and like if they have a choice between like, okay, Kevin Abstract, like you're gonna be the biggest star of this generation, like if some label rec tells him that, but you got to drop all these people, like if he makes that choice, he makes that choice, and like
that's true. I feel like Romil could be their Dr. Dre.
Romil is amazing.
His beats are he's the guy with the big eyebrows.
Yeah.
I think like that's the problem with like money, like getting into this, like, you know, like having the money involved in it kind of makes, I don't know, it makes it seem less stable to me. Like if you're just making art to make art, then you can keep doing that as long as you want. But as soon as you're making art and there's a bunch of money involved and you sign to a record label, like, other people have interests, and those interests and, like, stakes begin to have importance and, like, affect the way you decide things, and, like, I don't know.
That seems to be people's downfall generally when they sign, which is why Chance is so against labels.
Chance has been signed. He just hasn't announced it.
Really?
Yeah, he's like secretly signed. Like he's not like signed, but he like gets money from a record label.
Do you have
like,
that Chicago intel?
No, it's like look it up. Look it up online.
A lot of people are saying that him and Apple are in cahoots because like and that's kind of like being signed to someone.
Yeah.
And like a bunch of artists are signed and you just don't know it yet because they haven't announced it. Like Vic Mensa was signed for like a year and a half to The Rock before anyone knew.
Really?
Yeah. So like Chance is 100% not independent in the way you think he's independent.
Yeah.
So going back to Brockhampton and them possibly breaking up in the future because the record label or whatever, I feel like eventually you'd expect that artists would learn from the fact that like whenever they break up, it's just not a lot of good stuff happens. Like it rarely works out. It sort of worked out for Justin Timberlake,
Beyonce.
I guess.
Dude, it works
Beyonce,
out. Camila
but
Cabello.
Like, okay, Camila Cabello isn't going to become that big. And One Direction failed utterly.
She's got sex on that song, too. Literally and figuratively.
I'm not going to get used to that. Can we call him Young Thug, please?
Hey,
she's got sex on that song.
Respect the artist, Yiorgos.
I have much respect for sex.
You can say the
not so
artist
much for
formerly known as Young Thug. How about that?
Okay, all right. Okay. I kind of agree with what you're saying, Teo, but that's the thing. If someone tells Amir, like exactly what Evan said earlier, like some producer comes up to him, he's like, dude, you have the potential to be the next fucking
This is the thing.
Jay-Z.
I don't think any other boy band or girl band grew up. Girl band. I guess that's a thing.
Girl group. Yeah,
girl
sure.
group.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't think that it's ever happened before with Brockhampton, the way that they lived together when they were broke. And they rose to fame together.
I don't know what Odd Future did. Did they live together?
Odd Future.
Yeah.
I mean, not as much because they were like teenagers, but like once they were like, I mean, by the time they were like in their 20s and stuff, they had like popped off.
Yeah.
But like they were teenagers, so it was kind of like the high school vibe of like you kind of live together because you're always just like at each other's houses, but like. And like I think Vince Staples lived with them for a little while. Like some of them got kicked out of their houses and like slept on each other's couches. So it was kind of like that.
The other thing with Brockhampton is, and we've talked about this before, that a lot of these dudes are good in small doses. And if you, like I would only listen to a Merlin album because I love Merlin. I've probably listened to it once and then never pick it up again because it's just too much. Amir, probably my favorite guy in there, probably same thing. I just listened to it a couple times and it wouldn't like pop out to me unless one of them like really reinvents his sound, which maybe they might do. Like they have so much potential. These guys are all geniuses in their own right. But
the magic kind of comes from them all being together.
What is it? The
sum is greater than the parts.
Greater than the sum of its parts. The thing, Brockhampton, is greater than the sum of its parts. We know language.
So I would hope
you would come close to the mic first.
I would hope that they're going to stay together because they all seem like pretty humble and there's clearly a lot of love between all of them. Like Yiorgos is always telling me about like them tweeting how like genius like they all are and how much they love each other.
Matt Champion comments on every single one of Kevin Abstract's posts like, I love you, bro.
They tweet they tweet at one another in a very non-traditionally manly way. Like the I love you, bro, the all my homies cute. Their videographer tweeted all my homies cute in all caps.
They're so cool.
They're so cool.
I mean, they're kind of encapsulating the like new generation of people who are like don't feel that like I don't know. I feel like it's this sort of whatever generation you would call this, not the millennials, but like the next one. There's this like new, I wouldn't say it's really new. A lot of generations have felt this way where it's like you don't feel like, I don't know, you don't feel like the old generation is like this, like their standards are working for you a lot of the time. And it's kind of like a fuck the government, like DIY, like punk. We're like fuck your standards, like we're just gonna do whatever the fuck we want, like you're not like progressive enough. Like I mean that's kind of like what every generation does, I guess. But like I feel like Brockhampton's really just encapsulating that and like the way, not only like the way they act, but like their whole just like story of like how they came together. They came together because of a Kanye West music forum.
The fan forum,
like like that's the most like internet generation, like spreading these like I don't know, like non-normative ideas of like how you could live your life. It's kind of like it reminds me of what I've heard about like beatnik, like hippie stuff in like the 60s and 70s of just people like counterculturally being like, we're just gonna reject what you guys are saying and just kind of like do our own thing in a like internet kind of way.
Just these grassroots movements of like, let's just start something from scratch.
Yeah.
The punk movement was kind of that. It was the idea of you don't have to be a professional to jump into this industry or to like.
And that's what the internet does.
Yeah.
Anyone can upload a song onto SoundCloud. Teo, you got like 5 songs on there.
True.
Yeah, one of them's got 3,000 listens.
What? Which one?
Say My Name, Cry Me a River.
Oh, that's
That
a
cover.
good. That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, but like the internet allows anyone to be anything. You know.
Young Thug. That's how he became famous. The fucking internet.
And Young Thug defying gender norms,
Oh,
like
yeah.
how music should sound norms. It's great.
This is all great, but there's someone out there that isn't breaking any norms. And that is The Weeknd.
Wow.
He released this playlist, mixtape. It's an album, quote unquote, with 6 songs in it. It is called something about melancholy,
Darkness, something.
my
Dark Fires. Dark Fires, sad, heartbreak, cocaine.
Yeah, I think it's just called I'm Sad, Selena, Come Back. So, Genius made a video that highlights that most of these songs are probably about the Selena breakup, and it's pretty evident, like, we didn't really need Genius to tell us that. It's very evident by listening to just a couple of the tracks that this dude is salty, heartbroken, and whiny, as he usually is.
That's what would happen to me if JB stole my girl.
Dude. Well, did he steal the girl?
I don't care about the celebrity gossip.
Who
But
cares?
like something happened. Justin Bieber was involved when they broke up again. You know,
Yeah.
like Justin Bieber,
Yeah.
great guy.
How do you great dude. Great. Yeah. He's coming back. Not really. How do you guys feel about artists and specifically musicians using heartbreak in this way to just make mediocre music, just put something out there and make a buck? If that's what The Weeknd is doing here, or do you think there's something deeper to what he just did?
People love the album.
They do?
I mean,
Already?
like,
it dropped a couple days ago.
yeah, people who like The Weeknd love that shit because
Yeah.
it's the same shit.
It's more of the same.
I mean, like, anytime Migos drops an album, I'm like, hell yeah, because, like, that's what I like to listen to, you
Yeah.
know? So, like, even if, like, Culture 2, it's just kind of like a shittier version of Culture 1.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
like,
It's the
I liked
B-sides.
it because I like the sound of the Migos. People like the sound of The Weeknd. Like, and if you like The Weeknd and that's your thing, like, you fucked with that.
He has
Yeah.
a very consistent sound all throughout his music. Like I was saying to you guys earlier, I don't particularly like The Weeknd because his production is always very dark. It's his voice, while being a great voice, it's very whiny. His songs just put me in a bad mood. Like,
I feel
yeah,
like
it
I'm
can
in my
be.
castle, and, like, there's, like, a thunderstorm, and there's just, like, lightning bolts.
Yeah, he's just like, like crying and singing by candlelight or something. But as far as breakup albums go, it's it's the same as if like your friend just got dumped. Yeah, I mean it's compelling stuff. Like your emotions are valid, but I don't want to fucking hear about it for a whole album or the rest of the year.
And in such a cheap way. Like, if he was doing something different, if he was pushing his sound forward, if he was doing something remotely interesting to people that aren't just drinking the Weeknd Kool-Aid, then I'd be like, okay, dude, cool. That's what artists do. They use their emotions from real life. They put them into their art. They put them into their music. But this just seems like a cash grab.
But what I will say here is, like, even though I'm not a fan of the album either, and generally not that big of a fan of The Weeknd, I will say that we need the sugar as well to exist. Like, you need the really basic shit to exist.
The candy.
So that the other stuff sounds good. Mm-hmm. So that the other stuff is like, oh, like, this is actually original. Like, you need The Weeknd.
You need a reference
the
point of
mainstream
shit.
people. Yes,
That's
you
what you're
do.
saying right now.
That's sort of what I'm saying.
It's just a shame when you see artists like The Weeknd that clearly have a lot of potential, like could be another Frank Ocean, like a mirror version of Frank Ocean. Well, he could be. He could be, right? He had that potential maybe if he lyrically he went into something deeper, if like, you know what I mean?
I guess it's just because I never saw it in him. Like from the beginning. I mean, I first listened to The Weeknd, I was like, oh, who is this guy? Why does everyone love him? I thought it was going to be rap. And then I got The Weeknd, and I was just like, what is going on? Like, I don't know. I personally, the first time I listened to him, I was like, I don't like this. And then, like, occasionally he, like, kind of grew on me. But, like, just generally, I was just never, like, there for it.
Hot off the press, we have some opinions from Matt on this, because I texted him before the episode, and I asked him to listen to it and give me some opinions. He has 4 bullet points here. He says, couldn't stop thinking about Selena Gomez. I think he meant Selena Gomez. The second one's kind of interesting. Tory Lanez, Drake, and The Weeknd all hail from Canada and all rap/sing about their sexual exploits with women. It seems to be kind of a...
Who doesn't do that?
I mean, who doesn't, though? That's true. But, like, it's kind of a good point that they have, like, kind of the same moany, like, you used to call me on the cell phone.
So all Canadians are soft.
All basically.
Who knew?
The other thing he says is this seems like more of the same. Not that it's bad. I feel like this is The Weeknd trying to win back his older mixtape-based fans after his last poppy release.
That's what Travis said.
And then he says, loved the end of wasted times when he distorts his voice. He does kind of the Kanye thing where his voice sounds like an electric guitar, like it's so distorted. It's kind of cool, but I'll just go listen to Kanye if I want to hear that. Like, it's
Now that's known as the sex thing. Or the Travis thing.
what? What is?
Distorting your voice.
Oh my god.
Don't even bring up. We can't talk about Travis Scott right now.
Travis is on a completely
Don't get
different
Teo
level.
started.
Yeah, we talked about that last time, didn't we? Did we talk about it?
I don't
It's all a
think
blur. So okay, I feel like we can get out of here. I guess.
Like, out of those three artists, who are you most excited to see their future work? Tory Lanez, Drake, The Weeknd.
Drake, by far.
I'm not very familiar with Tory Lanez.
I honestly might go Tory Lanez because I feel like I know what I'm going to get from Drake at this point.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like when God's Plan came out, I was just like, this is Drake.
In a sense, we say we know what we're gonna get, but think about how much his music
That's
has changed
true.
over the years. Like just like Rihanna. Like Rihanna has also come to some nice little conclusions. Like right now, her music starts to sound very similar, but she's changed so.
She's reinvented
much.
herself multiple
Umbrella.
Like, please don't stop the music.
Yeah. She's one of those artists that like I used to listen to in middle school, or people used to listen to when I was in middle school, and now, I just heard it at parties, and now I will actually, when Anti came out, I would put that album on and listen to it because it's
great.
good. She's one of those artists. I guess I'm not excited about any of them. If I had to pick one, it would probably be The Weeknd, because I hope somewhere deep down inside that he'll get an interesting producer and not make the same sounding beats and kind of write something different and give us something that's actually emotional with that. Michael Jackson voice of his.
A Weeknd music video that's like, the sun's out. Like, that'd be a big change.
like a happy weekend? Could we ever see that?
No flames.
No blurry, dark, nocturnal.
He's wearing a color that isn't dark green or black.
So to wrap this episode up, we have Matt's mailbag. Ooh. When you guys may not know this, but when one of the three of us is missing from an episode, we ask that person to send us some questions, generally about music or whatever they might want to ask us, and then we respond to them. The first question.
Wait, this is a digital mailbag?
Yes, a digital.
I thought there was going to be a real mailbag here.
I wish there
that would be cool, but that's way.
You're living in the past, old man.
It's way easier to just text. So the first question is, if you had to have an ad-lib, what would it be?
I know what Teo's going to say already.
You got to make something new. You can't.
He can't just go, Mama.
You can't use one of Travis's.
Oh no, of course I wasn't going to.
You got to make your own.
Only Travis can do his ad-libs as well as he does.
I feel like I'd want to do something really silly, like a Lil Yachty, like a uh-oh. Like what was B? I really like that one. That's a what song was that on? That's Sex, isn't it? The artist formerly known as Young Thug.
I don't know. When you said that, all I could think about is this time I was at Pitchfork, and this one guy, we were waiting for Kendrick, and we were just hot, crowded, and this one guy just had this B tattoo, and we're just going, B! B! He was just so fucked up, just wandering the crowd, B! B! Eventually he stopped moving and sat down next to us and made this little bong out of a plastic water bottle and dire straits. But that's immediately what I thought of when you said that. So I have no idea.
Or maybe something sillier, like a just you're listening to a bubbly kind of song and all of a sudden you hear in the background.
I do something like I'm eating
It's something aggressive.
Ooh,
I knew yours was going to be something aggressive. You like those orf orf those kind.
Yeah, like the punctuation at the end of
DMX-y.
a line.
At the end of something. You just be you can yell it at the end of a line.
Yeah.
I want to flex, except I can't just say flex because.
Why not?
That's Waka's thing.
Of course you can.
There's a million rappers who already say that.
Yeah, I guess.
Everybody says that.
Yes.
I'd say, quack. That's my ad-lib. It's a duck sound.
Put a quack there.
Yeah, eat your bitch.
Bow, 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 bow. A timeless ad-lib. All right, so the next question is something that we kind of already discussed. Why do Canadian artists, Tory Lanez, Drake, Bieber, and The Weeknd, have so many issues with women?
They're soft.
Canadians are soft, and everyone talks about women.
Canadians
Justin Bieber, too.
are dirty, ugly
Daniel
people.
Caesar?
Is he Canadian?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's why he's so
He's
emotional.
from GTA.
Okay, he's my favorite. He's the Canadian. If I had to choose If I had to choose one Canadian that I'm most excited about in his future, easy, Daniel
I
Caesar.
might buy a one-day ticket to Lala just to see Daniel Caesar.
Dude, he's gonna be at Boston Calling, and I wanted to see him, but I'm not gonna do it. I gotta take it for Childish Gambino. So that was my concert money for the year.
How much was
Childish
that?
Gambino?
$150 for the nosebleeds, my dude.
Yikes.
For all the way in the
At
back.
TD?
At TD Garden.
Man, he's trash. Just kidding.
Yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be a really shitty experience.
He's a positive outlook.
I'm kidding. Obviously, it's gonna be freaking life changing, dude.
Quack.
I saw Childish Gambino and it was amazing. And
Yeah?
I saw him again and it was okay.
Did you see him post the new album?
I saw him right after on the Because of the Internet tour.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him, and then I saw him at Lollapalooza.
That was the
a
non-amazing
year
one?
after that. So that was after Kawhi and that other one. came
Okay,
out.
yeah.
So I haven't seen him since the newest one.
I'm expecting something big.
I
Something
want-
the new
really
album.
crazy.
His shows.
Didn't?
Like I like
Whoa.
California. Obviously, everyone likes Redbone, but like I would never, ever, ever listen to it like just casually.
That's fair. That's fair. It kind of grew on me. I had to like force myself to listen to it a few times to.
I don't like
actually
his
get in the groove.
music.
Wow.
Whoa!
Generally.
Hot takes. Bam, bam, bam.
Except Redbone. Redbone's like a legendary song. But like, generally his music is just subpar.
You know what? That's fair. Especially his rap, really cheesy.
Yes,
But
subpar.
I would
there's
say
something about it that I love.
I miss rapping Donald Glover.
Me too.
I agree.
I hope he hasn't buried that part of himself in the grave because
Mixtape
that
Glover.
was
feel like-
my favorite part of
I
him.
feel like he's gonna give us one more just outburst of rap on one of his songs, and then just like
What if that's what Atlanta's building to?
what? Earn becoming
At
the
the
rapper.
very end,
Earn becomes
Earn
a rapper.
releases an album.
Oh
Last
my
Childish
God.
Gambino album. It's just bars.
Colbert asked him about that. He's like, so you're making a show where you're the manager of a rapper. Why don't you play the rapper on your show? He's like, nah, that would be whack. That would be so whack to me.
He knows. He
That
really
would be kinda
wanted
whack.
to play that character that he's playing because he's
Yeah.
made for that role.
Yeah.
He's so
He really
good
wants
at
to be
that.
the soft black guy who's like not as tough as the rest of them, but
Like
like,
a
is
little
smarter.
awkward.
Is he Canadian?
He's from Atlanta.
He's from Atlanta.
Oh. You mentioned he was soft.
Dude, he's his character. Okay, all right.
Oh wait.
What? Okay, here's the next one. Which new and up-and-coming rapper do you think will have the most sustainable career / have albums that will age well? Or are none of them sustainable?
Rich the Kid.
Really?
No.
Okay. Jesus, I was going to be like, damn, bro. New and up-and-coming, I feel like Daniel Caesar is one of of them that has the
Not a
potential.
rapper.
Not a rapper.
Oh, shit. We're just talking about rappers. Lil Dicky?
Fuck out of here.
No. Wait.
Who do we
Define
put
new
in
and
that?
up-and-coming.
Yeah, who do we put in that category?
Last, I don't know, like came out in the last 5
Lil
years.
Yachty.
Oh, last five. Oh.
Yeah.
So we're doing like possible like Drake, Kendrick level like.
No, they didn't come out in the last 5
I know,
years.
but like they could be building to that. You're not
Oh,
saying like
yes.
someone who came out in the past like year and a half, 2 years.
No.
Oh, that's-
Yeah, we're talking about
that's a
like
tough
could
one.
actually get there.
Okay.
Or he says have albums that will age well. So like
Jeez, there's so
classics.
many bad rappers
classics.
out right now.
There's I mean
There's so
Brockhampton.
many flashes.
Brockhampton.
And like
Brockhampton will
truthfully,
probably.
age well or like become big and age well.
He says have
'Cause,
the
like,
most
Big Crit's-
sustainable career.
Because
So-
Big Crit, like his
Ooh.
album will age great, but like who's listening to it besides people who just love hip hop?
He's been out for a while.
And he's also been making music for a long
a good
time.
call.
But like I feel like his newest album is like his biggest, like most visible release
Yeah.
in like the past, I don't know, 5 maybe ever.
Would we put Joey Badass in that category?
I guess you could. Yeah, actually he's
You could, yeah, I guess.
yeah, that's true.
But
He has big potential, I think.
Yeah.
He's kind of getting lost in the sauce. I see him on his Snapchat stories, like on yachts and like, you know,
Yeah.
being really smoking cigars and
He
like.
stopped smoking weed because he says that the government puts stuff in weed to control the minds of people.
Honestly,
Wow.
like lazy, unconcerned, like
Dumb,
might be right.
lazy, stupid.
Because the
and
government wants people to be
unconcerned.
lazy, stupid. and
They kind of
unconcerned.
do.
That's a Frank
They
Ocean
have
reference.
they have a vested interest in people not taking action against certain things.
Damn, we're getting
That's
That's a good point.
we're getting
Oh my
Yellow
political.
Sweatshirt, Earth Gang,
Earl Sweatshirt. Oh yeah.
Earl Sweatshirt.
He's not that new, I guess, but I don't consider him to be that
He's
new.
just so
but
young. Like,
he's
all these
super
people
young.
are so young. Tyler,
Yeah.
the Creator.
Yeah.
Like, they're not that new, but they're, like, super, like...
They have a good career ahead of them. They have, like, a beefy
Gold
career.
Link, possibly, if he gets his shit together. Stop stealing bars from Smino.
Smino, dude.
Smino might have a good future.
I really hope that he...
I mean, Isaiah Rashad.
Ooh, No Name.
No Name.
Bruh. No Name and Rhapsody. They're gonna go places.
Listen to Ivy Soul. I feel like you would really like her.
Never
She's
heard of her.
really good.
Sure.
Yeah.
Ivy Soul. And the last question. If you had to come up with a name for the new genre of rap that we're seeing, what would it be? Migos, Rich the Kid, Yachty, Kodak. A new name. Come up with a new
So
name.
not trap music.
Not mumble rappers, not trap.
Bangers!
We used to call it candy rap. We kind of...
Yeah, that's a good
where
one.
you just listen to it because you don't want to feel feelings. You just... Or you don't want to, like, think thoughts. You just want to feel feelings. You just
Yeah.
want to be like, wee.
Yeah, I think for me it's like minimal, like minimal brain cell, like trying to use fewer brain cells.
So
Very-
Swifty
Also,
rap?
no. Actually, no. I'll take that back. I'll say it's a very like, what's the word here? It's like very like innate, like almost an
It's a feeling.
Animal-
guttural,
yeah, because it's like sounds.
animalistic rap.
Yeah.
It's,
No.
For me, the main part of like that type of music. For me, the main part of that type of music is like, it's just the beat. Like without the beat, it's nothing.
True.
Like the beat is just driving the entire thing, and like that's like it gives the song. I don't know. I wouldn't say it gives the song necessarily the melody, but it kind of does, like
Yeah.
a little bit.
There's exceptions to the rule. Travis, I think, is an exception to the
Yeah.
rule. His voice fills the space.
Plus, he makes the beat.
True. Yeah.
But like the beat kind of is the like director of the song,
Maybe.
and it like
Yeah.
I feel like it fills the gap that is left by I don't know, like the lyrics necessarily.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
The gap of like I want some like deep meaning out of the song. Rather, the beat is kind of just like here's the like feeling. Like if you listen to these type of songs on like a giant speaker in like a huge room and just turn it on and sit down and just like let it like shake the room, like I don't know. I think it's a different way to experience music rather than like a focus necessarily on just like what they're saying.
It's that guttural. You just want to just vibe. Maybe vibe rap.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna
it's just
say
a vibe.
like aesthetic or mood rap because
Mood rap. That's
going
mood rap.
going back to what you were saying about it, like Young Thug sex kind of being almost like a jazz musician in a weird way because it doesn't matter what he says. It's just about how he uses his voice.
It's about the
and,
mood.
well, yeah, what the beat is, and it kind of points to the way that we listen to music. It's oftentimes like at a club or like hanging out with people, and it's just a background to set like a tone, and it doesn't really matter what they say because you're not gonna sit down like look at the lyrics and
You're not gonna have a listening session.
you're not gonna like really focus in on an artist like that because that's not how they meant for you to experience the music.
It's like Eazy-E. Like Eazy-E was never a rapper, but he had this persona and this like street life that I forget who recognized it. Maybe it was Dre. Someone recognized they're like if Eazy-E rapped, like he's got like the aura of like someone who like has been through like some like hard shit, So like I feel like that's kind of what this music is about, like giving you like the feeling like, yeah, I'm really like sitting here like in this situation, like I'm like this powerful
in the
man,
trap.
like
In the streets. Yeah.
Just
Maybe
like you're
aura rap. Mood rap, aura rap. I like the word aura.
It definitely has a lot to do with flexing
It's like
too.
swag
It's like flex
rap.
rap.
Flex rap. Oh, flex rap. It's not
Flap.
bad. Flap.
It's a flap.
And I think we should leave it at that, boys. We solved a lot of issues today. We had some. This was a very good conversation. Let's do a little sign off here. Thank you for joining us, boys. Evan Kindler.
thank you for having me. It was a great time.
We'll hope to have you back soon, dude.
I hope to come back.
Teo.
Yes, pleasure. Second week in a row. This was amazing.
Yeah, Teo
Thank
has been
you.
on the podcast the same times as Andy has been.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
There's a
We're getting up
competition here
there.
now.
You were
I
on
don't know
last
who
week.
Andy is. Yeah, I was here last week. Yeah,
Gonna get on the Guests Hall of Fame.
there we go.
You guys should have like a little wall here with like photos of people
yeah.
with headphones on.
Ben Danzig, how'd you feel about this episode?
This was great. Some very rousing conversation. Some of the topics took a turn, like in ways that I didn't expect it to, in very interesting ways as well. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thanks for coming, guys.
It got real deep, as it usually does on the Earbuds podcast. Thank you for listening, everyone. Subscribe to the podcast, and we'll talk at you next time.
I'm in a relationship with all my bitches, yeah. I need to cut some of them off, I need help. I got some bad things I want to myself. Gotta take the time to cut them off, I need help. I know how to make the girl go crazy when you treat her like you're number one.